Good evening, and it's currently 8:30 on the East Coast. Um, Today's video is going to be talking about leverage stocks. So leverage stocks are pretty much, there's two different, so there's low risk and then there's high risk. So high risk is the ability to lose out on a lot of money. Low risk is it goes a little bit slower. You have more potential to catch it before it drops. High risk is shooting everywhere. It's skyrocket. It's up and down. It's all over. So it just takes time to get better. But I'm going to explain the strategy and how to look out for whether or not it's going up or going down, when to pull out of the stock, when to stay, what the different percentages mean, and how much money you should be putting in. So first I'm gonna go over I'll go over how much money you should be putting in. So if you have money in your account, bills are already paid first, all expenses are taken care of. If you have kids, the kids are good, food, everything. Also, just everything that's a need is taken out of the way and is taken care of. Then you look into leverage stocks, because leverage stocks is different from your average stock. Your average stock can take a long time before it starts dropping dramatically. A leverage stock at a high yield can be, a high risk can drop tremendously within minutes, within seconds, because it's continuously going, pretty much by the second, honestly, whether that be increasing or decreasing. So you want to put that money that you have, it's just kind of there. I'm not saying your 6 to 8 month savings that you have for a rainy day. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the extra overtime money that you just have, and that you're like, oh, let me just go out, let me spend money on myself, let me buy this, let me buy that, let me go out, take the family out and spend all my money right now, buy them a gift. It's good to be generous, but let's talk about building wealth, though. There's a difference. The more wealth you build, the more generous you can become. As a generous person is always good, because there's always return in generosity. But also taking care of yourself and building your portfolio is very smart. So that money that you have that's just kind of there, over time, or just kind of there, you're like, oh, I don't really know what to do with this. I'm not sure if I should put it into some shoes, like as I said before, but buy certain stuff for yourself, buy new gifts for family. No, let's put this money into a leverage account. Okay? And let's see how this will work. So you have a pie chart. There's a pie chart that has different, just like any other stock, it has a pie chart. And then it has a graphic chart as well. You see as the chart goes up and down, you have different things like vertical lines, you have diagonal lines, you have V-shaped lines, you have all kinds of lines, squiggly lines, You know, looks like somebody's doodling on the paper or on the sheet or on the screen. But these lines are very important. So if you have a stock that costs 7 cents, or let's say $2, you buy 200. You put $200 in. You have that $200. You know, and then the percentage jumps up to 0.001, which will also be 1. Because anytime you are doing decimals or a percentage, you always have to move, well, a percentage, you always have to move 2 times over from the percentage. Always remember that. Always remember. So this is when you would multiply that 200 times 0.001. And those numbers will be on the right side. You know, you have 0, then point, then 001 on the right side. The 0 before the point is on the left side. The 0 and the 1 are on the right side. So this is what you multiply times your number. Then you should get a certain amount. The amount that you get, you add that to the money that you invested into the account. And this is how leverage accounts work. So as you see, $200 is not really making a difference to an account that is 2 cents, 20 cents. But the more money, that overtime money, those few thousands that you made, you know, that extra money you were just holding on to, that's just kind of there, you know, maybe you want to take half of that, a quarter of that, and try to invest. That money right there is going to add another 200-300. I mean, when we talk about money and wealth, we talk about gain. Gain is the power of wealth. The more you gain wealth-wise, the bigger your wealth will be. I mean, the smarter it is for you in the long term, because wealth is long term, it's longevity. That is what wealth is. And keep doing that formula. The more money, obviously, you put in, the more you're going to take out. So let's talk about decrease, though. There was a lot of increase being talked about. Let's talk about decrease. So decrease is important to talk about as well, because the same way you take half of this money, the same way you take that overtime money, the same way you take that money that you're going to invest into gifts for your family, things of that nature, for yourself, is the same money you could lose within seconds. So this is why it's called leverage, and this is why it is a high risk. Because if you put that $200 in and the market just happens to be going down instead of increasing at a high rate, you have to be careful, okay? You have to have enough patience to say, there's a possibility that this is going to shoot up again. That this chart is going to go up for me, and my wealth is going to be built even more. So you have to have the patience to watch and just sit and say, okay, this money right here, it's giving me a potential to gain, but I'm losing right now. How can I build a better investment for myself? Okay. and then you're looking. That's probably going to be the first thought to come to mind. How can I build a better investment? Oh, my money's not building. What's happening? This is not a great investment. This was a poor choice. No, it wasn't. Just because it's not growing in the beginning doesn't mean that it's not going to start growing eventually. So this is where your patience comes in. So you take the time to watch it. It will start growing. Once it starts growing, then you need to have discipline to tell yourself when to draw back. If you see a gain is always good, whether it be $10, $5, $20, $30, $40, $100, $3,000, $10,000. This is not, you won't start seeing numbers like that on leverage stocks until you invest bigger numbers and portions, as well as like numbers like 50,000, 100,000, million, invest in big numbers like that. That's when you start seeing those kind of increases come over time, which is called wealth. The increase of longevity with money is wealth. Remember that. Keep that in your head. But there's also risks that come with building wealth, which is figuring out other ways to build it, taking risk at innovation, but completing different plans that you have and objectives to get you to where you want to be at in the threshold of wealth. I mean, there's different. Wealth is wealth at the end of the day. I mean, it's longevity. So that's the whole key of wealth, longevity, as well as knowledge too. Books help. There's different. The Psychology of Money is a great book to read. Dave Ramsey. I like Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about different things, assets, building different assets. You have gold, you have ETFs, you have different things which I will get into in another video. But yes, so to watch the decrease in the beginning is better to be more patient. But as you see the rise, you need to tell yourself, I see a gain. It's gaining. Let me be careful. It might come to a standstill, and then it might become even with where it's at, and then there's the dramatic drop. So you have to watch out for that. There's going to be a growth, a standstill, a dramatic drop. So as you see that growth and it begins to become a standstill, you should just draw back. I advise that you draw back at that time, because if you don't, there can be a dramatic drop and you will lose money. Okay. So the percentages, as you remember, is what you multiply times the money that you invested, and that is how much return you will get on that investment. And then the money of how much the stock is how much per share. Okay, so if it's 20 cents, that means it's 20 cents per share. So if you buy 2, that will be 40 cents. If you buy 3, that will be 60 cents. So you can do the math with that. The more money you put in, you use that formula, and that's how many shares you would have of the company. And that is a quick description of leverage stocks and high risk, as well as low risk. I didn't get into low risk too much because low risk is more like Apple stocks, Tesla, Amazon. It's your traditional stocks that over time you're going to see there's going to be growth. So it's more safe to invest your money into those. They do have skyrockets as well, But they tend to be a little bit more expensive than leverage stocks, because leverage stocks are by the day investing and moving. Not just investing, but moving. They're more so by the day. Stocks are more over time. Your normal low risk stocks are more over time. So you can have more patience with those. You might be able to let those sit for a little bit longer before you draw back. A lot of the time, summertime, different holidays can be good for those, because holiday season is usually a lot of the times people like to go out and buy new things, especially around Christmas time. You have sales like Black Friday sales. It's a good time. There's different places to invest in too, but Apple's coming out with a new phone every year. They always have different innovations involved. So that's always a good idea to invest into them. And they are also technology. Technology is at the highest it's ever been, and technology is going to keep becoming innovative. So it's very smart to invest into all kinds of technology stocks for longevity right now, as far as ETFs as well. I will break that down in another video. But that is leverage stocks and stocks with leverage stocks, as well as stocks that have that are low in risk and that are also high in risk. Text me or comment below if you have any questions regarding when or how or what. Just comment below, and I will respond back to you in the same day.